this is very exciting. It's our first annual putting school, right? So when Nancy and I were talking about doing this, we got really excited because when we do normal schools, and a lot of you guys have attended some schools, I think 2 or 3 day schools where, you know, we just touch on putting, you know, and we know it's important. We know the percentages, we'll talk about here in a minute, but we don't really get to see, you know, huge changes, and we don't get to spend enough time on, you know, some of the finer points that we're going to talk about today. So 4 hours, we've got plenty of time. Though, you know, the weather obviously is a little warm out there, so we've got cold towels, we've got some water, some beverages. So feel free to take breaks at your leisure. Okay, we're not like going to be right on you going, oh, you got to be, you know, hitting 3 footers for 4 hours. So we want to take breaks, and we want you guys to get the most out of this. I need you coherent at the end, you know, so you can get all of this information. So start out with a little bit of a story of sort of, you know, how I acquired a lot of the knowledge that you're going to learn today. And Nancy, you all know Nancy Harvey behind the camera there.
I'm the camera guy too.
Yeah. So you know, we've really been studying a lot about putting. Really, the last 4 or 5 years, I've been fortunate to work with some really outstanding putting instructors like Mike Shannon. I took a lesson from him and have spent some time with Mike down at Sea Island, and just one of the top guys. Works with a lot of PGA Tour players. And I was fortunate enough to do a school with Todd Sutton, who's one of my good friends, and Nancy was involved as well. The owner of the tour, as you guys will find out, a putter fitting company that's just outstanding. And really learned the finer points of teaching putting and what to look for, and some of the really, really finer points that's going to help you guys putt better. Because the fact that you're here today tells me that you're serious about the game, and tells me that you are understanding how important putting is, right? Does anybody know the numbers? I mean, how many shots throwing around a golf do you take in the putting green? Anybody know?
40%.
43. Yeah, it's up. Yeah, 35 to 45%. You know, depending on, you know, we hope it's less, right? After today, but huge amount. The thing that we found, me and Nancy, is that not very many people practice their putting. Right? They all heard, well, you know, it'll get better if it's just feel, you know, it's got to get comfortable, and it's got to go out and practice. So what do? We take a sleeve of balls, we throw it on the putting green, we roll it around before we go play, and we call that practice. Right? We don't understand the drills that we need to be doing. We don't understand the mechanics. And so as we dug into this stuff, we found that a lot of the information that the guys are teaching out there, there's a common thing that they're all doing, right? And that's what we're going to focus on today. And you're going to be surprised at how basic it really is. Right? It's a lot to do with, you know, posture and some of the fundamentals that are really going to help you get out of some of the poor techniques that you found yourself in. So I'm really excited to share all this with you. One, because this is the first one we've done as a group, and two, because I know you're going to leave here playing better golf and shooting lower scores, and that's what it's all about. So just going to go through a couple of things, and this is all in your manual. If you want to kind of follow along a little bit, you'll see. But I really just sort of did a little brain dump of what we're going to cover, and also there's a couple of extra things in there that I won't talk about in the intro that we'll talk about as we get out into the green. But you know, what we found is the putting has a cycle that goes good or bad, right? And it usually starts with, can we aim the putter face? Right? It's just like anything else in golf. Golf's a target game. You know, we're aiming at a certain aim line and putting relative to the target as we get breaks and so forth. Can you aim the putter face? Now, there's a lot of factors that go into that as we'll go forward. Does your putter fit you properly? Are you set up properly? Are your eyes where they need to be? You know, there's a lot of things that go into that. So we've got some visual aids on the green that we'll deal with. I've got some putting aids. I know you got a few. You got the Cure. You've got the Cure, which is a really great training aid that we've been using to help people practice their alignment. So we're going to go into a lot of that. But how you aim the putter face really dictates how you move the putter throughout the stroke. Right? Most people I tend to see aim too far to the right, so they end up making a compensation in the stroke to get the thing back online. All right, so
can I ask,
sure.
Is the reason for that you're right-eye dominant?
Maybe a little bit. I think it's probably because your eyes are not in the right place in your setup. They're either too far inside the golf ball, or your head's tilted too much to the right or to the left. I think eye dominance does have something to do with a lot, but not as much as you think. A lot of it's ball position. There's some different factors that go in to it, but mostly it has to do with setup, and the lack thereof. Poor setups tend to get your eyes out of line and you can't aim. And some of it, it's just the perception of the green. You know, perception of the target. You know, the eye dominance and your personality has a lot to do with that as well. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about: club face control. Right? We're looking at, and you got my model up here. This is Stuart Appleby. Pretty good looking putting setup there. As we go through, is we know that where the club face is pointing, that's where the ball's going to start. Okay, it's simple as that. So we better have control of this guy first and foremost. Now, putting grips, you know, there's a lot of different putting grips. You guys watch golf on TV, and you see a lot of different styles. You know, left hand low, now the claw, and all this other stuff. But they all have effective club face control, and that's what it's all about. The putting grips are going to be a little bit different, and you can see that even the shape of the grip is different, and that's there for a reason. It's got a flat spot on the top with round on the back. So, in full swing, we talk a lot about getting the club down the fingers, right? Because we're trying to create leverage that's going to make the ball go far. Okay, we're creating power and speed. In putting, we want to have a lot more precise control over the instrument. So we're going to talk a lot about getting the club more up into the palm of your hands and how that's important. Trying to really create a single plane with the shaft and the forearms. Very, very important. As you can see, the line that I've drawn through his putter shaft goes directly up his forearms. All right. If you see this look, which a lot of you are going to do, is we're creating angles that we really don't need, and that's going to create too much face rotation, and it could also create wrist breakdown. Okay? And excess speed that we really don't need in putting. So, a lot of guys will get it way up into the lifeline. See a lot of pros that kind of get that look to where I always say that full swing you have a little bit of upward hinge. In putting you almost have a bowed sort of arch effect that needs to happen in your wrist. So as we get it in there, I like to go somewhere from the lifeline just a little bit down towards the heel pad. You know, Tiger tends to grab it a little bit lower than most people, but you're not going to see anybody on the tour like this. Just too much. So we're going to make sure we get it up there. We're going to show you how, you know, the most common grip, if there is a common grip nowadays, is the left hand or the reverse overlap where the index finger just sets on the side. All right, both palms are facing each other. Those are good characteristics of any grip. Whether you go left hand low or conventional, I want to see palms facing, and I want to see that shaft matching my forearms. Huge, huge deal. Okay, so we're just trying to create good, solid alignments in your setup. A lot of things we've heard probably is, you know, we swing the putter straight back, straight through. Should we swing it in an arc? Our goal today is, for whatever we believe in, we do believe that the club swings in an arc. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But if I can get you into good putting posture and get you into good putting posture alignments, it's going to take a lot of the thought out of your stroke. Okay? Let me say that again. If I can get you into good setups, who doesn't want to think about it, right? That's the best way to putt. So if I can get you into a single plane setup, right, and then start with our posture keys, right, which is getting our inward rotation of the elbows. So when I get the elbows down, it's a good way to start straight lines. I don't like to see people putting like this, the chicken wings. See, now we got all these angles going on. So the elbows fold in, and we'll go through all this. We go into the rib cage where we connect ourselves to the shoulders. and then we relax to the ground with our hips out behind us. That's exactly what Mr. Appleby's doing right there. So you can see everything's in good alignment, he's in good balance, he's not too much on his heels, he's not too much out on his toes. He's in a good, stable position. Okay? Most people add tension to their grip or tension to the stroke because they're out of stability. They don't have the club in palm enough, so they're grabbing too tight, or they're out of balance, so things start to tighten up. So we're going to put you in good positions where we can have light grip pressure, we can start feeling the club head a little bit, and start making good strokes.